Hello everyone and welcome in this new webinar. My name is Clément and I'm e-commerce expert here at Odoo. During this session, we will discover together how you can launch your own online store with Odoo. The agenda for this presentation is the following. First of all, we will cover how to set up your Odoo environment, how to create your own database. Then we will discover together how you can configure your own products on your e-commerce website. We will then create the store design, so make it attractive for your own visitors. And finally, we will see how we can do the store management on a daily basis, and we will also discover some advanced questions. In case you have any question or doubt during this session, feel free to ask your question in the chat of this video, and then we will cover them at the end of this presentation. Before we dive directly into the main topic, I would like to take a few minutes to explain what is Odoo to people who maybe don't already know that. So Odoo is a suite of business applications. It's a business management software. If you go on odoo.com, you will discover the different applications that are available for you to run your business. Odoo is a modular solution. It means that every need of your company is managed by one module into your system. Odoo is scalable. It means that you can start with a few modules and then add other modules that will combine together with the other application to create a fully integrated system. To start a new Odoo environment, that's very simple. All you have to do is to click on this button, Start Now. When you click on it, you will have to select the different applications that you would like to use on your system. Of course, you can always add other applications later. So today we are going to create an e-commerce store. Then we will select the e-commerce application. And you will notice that as soon as you select one application, you can use the system for free with unlimited user forever. You will enter a paid plan as soon as you use a second application. For example, if tomorrow you want to add the point of sale application, you can add this application, but then you will enter the paid plan and you will get a 15 days trial. Regarding the pricing of the system, it's available here. So if you click on pricing, you will discover our offers. So as I mentioned, you can use one application for free for unlimited user. This is the one app free plan. Then as soon as you use a second application or more, you will enter the paid plan. So on the yearly plan for the first year is 20 euro per user per month. So it's a per user license. And then you get access to all the applications of Odoo. You don't have to pay pay an extra fee every time you want to use another application. And for some advanced purposes, you might need the custom plan. So the custom plan includes different types of hosting. Also the Odoo Studio application, you can have a multi-company setup and you can use the external API. We are not going to cover it now, but most of the time the standard plan is sufficient to launch your own online store. So let's go back to the selection of my application. Here I will click on continue and I will have to fill in this form. So I will just put my name here and I will select my company name. For example, L'Atelier, which means workshop in French, will be the name of my company. We are going to sell clothes. And you will notice that Odoo provides you by default a URL, a domain, finishing by .odoo.com. So all the new databases that you launch on Odoo Online will finish by .odoo.com. However, if you have your own domain name for your shop and you would like to link it to the database, so removing the .odoo.com, of course you can do that by linking your own domain name to this database. And you can also do that even if you use the free plan of Odoo, which is quite different from our competitors. Even in the free plans, you can remove the odoo.com in the URL. Then you can add your email address. You add a phone number. You select your country, the language of the system. It can always be edited after, and also it can be managed by user. So if you have colleagues speaking different languages, they can have the system in other languages. You define the size of your company and the primary interest. And that's it. You just have to click on Start Now, and Odoo will deploy your environment. So as you can see, that's very easy. I didn't mention you, but in the price of the software, the hosting is included. So if you use Odoo Online, the hosting is included in the price, and it's unlimited size. As we decided to launch a new website, a new e-commerce, then the first screen will be the configuration of the shop. So to help you build quickly a website, Odoo has developed a 4-steps configurator. So on this configurator, you can define the type of website you'd like, the type of industry. I would like an e-commerce for my clothing store, for example, with the main objective to get leads. I can also select a specific color palette, or I can even upload my own logo to extract the color for my website. And I can select predefined pages, for example here, and then several templates for my pages. So this tool helps you build a website quickly. However, since I want to show you how to build it from scratch, I will go back in the configurator and I will skip this step to start from scratch. So I will land on a blank website. So it takes a few seconds, and here we are on my future website. Of course, right now it's totally empty, and during this presentation we will cover how you can edit it. But before I show you how this module works, I would like you to go back in the dashboard application of Odoo to give you a tour of the main environment. To go back to the main dashboard of Odoo, you can click here on the icon, the app icon here, to land on the dashboard of Odoo, where you will find all the installed application on your system. So every day you will connect to this page, and then you will be able to access all the different applications. In this screen, you will also find that apps applications, where you can add other application. So remember, Odoo is a scalable system. It means that tomorrow, if I have a new need, for example, I would like to add another module such as email marketing, for example. I would like to start doing some emailing campaigns. I can simply install this module in my database. Here I confirm, and in a few seconds, the module will be installed on the environment and will communicate with all the other applications. And as soon as I have a paid plan, I don't pay an extra price for this new module into my system. Don't forget as well to activate the creation of the database. So here you have a red banner telling you that you should activate the database through the link sent by email within the 3 hours. And once you do that, this banner will disappear. So I suggest creating your first product for your shop. So let's do it manually first. To do so, we can click on website application, and we can directly go into the e-commerce menu. And from there, we will find our products listing catalog. Right now, it's empty. At least I don't have any published product, and I'm going to create a new one from scratch. To do it, you can click here on the new button, and you can define a name. In this case, I'm going to sell a linen shirt. I can add a picture, so you just have to click on the pencil here, and I will be able to select a picture. So I've prepared a folder with a few images and files, and now I have my shirt image. On this view, I will also find other useful fields, such as the price, of course. So I could add a specific price here. I could also add a specific sales tax. So here I'm in Belgium, so it's 21% tax, but you could edit the tax in the system as well. You can define a cost. Then you could also define a reference, a barcode, and a category. Pay attention to the category. This category field is not the category on the e-commerce. This is the category in your catalog in general. It's more for accounting purposes. If you want to change the category on your shop, so the filters on the shop page, for example, being able to place this shirt into a shirts category on your website, then it's better to go on the e-commerce tab here. You click on that, and there you will select the specific category. Of course, right now I don't have any category because I've just deployed the system, but I could create it on the fly. So shirts category, for example. On this e-commerce tab, I will also find other useful fields, such as the tags. So I can add a specific tag to a product. So the tag is useful because you don't have to switch the category of the product, but you will discover how you can use these tags later in the presentation. But it's nice. It's a nice way to classify items as well. So let's say it's going to be in sales. You can also define a ribbon. So a ribbon is a small banner on the product thumbnail. For example, if it's a new product or if it's out of stock, you have several options. You can create your own ribbons. And you can define if the product is published or not. So you don't have to publish your product. You can also make it unpublished, and as soon as it's ready or ready to sell, you can publish it. Also, here you can add extra media. So if you click on this button, you will be able to add a secondary image or more. You can even add a video from YouTube. So let's take a second image, like a close-up for my shirt, and then I will have this second image available. So an important point as well, Odoo is a business management software, so it means that we will we will be able to use it for the inventory management. It means that this product could be tracked as well, so you can decide to track the inventory level of this product. That's very useful. Right now I will keep it simple, so we will have only one warehouse and a single quantity on hand. So for example, let's have 5 products in stock, but later we can see how to have several shops and several warehouses. So here it is. You have a few more options as well. If you go in the sales tab, you could, for example, add optional products, accessory or alternative products. It means that Odoo will suggest to your visitor other products in the cart when they add the product to the cart, or if the product is out of stock, you can then suggest alternatives, and this is available here. You can set it up here. You can also add a description. Odoo is also good at price list management. One single product could be available at different prices to what we call price lists. And then you can assign a specific price list to a certain kind of customer. And it makes the system very powerful, especially in B2B management. We will cover that point a bit later. So here it is. I have a simple configuration for my product. If I save it and I go on my website here, I can directly use this shortcut to discover the product page for this linen shirt. And from there, I will be able to edit this page with more information. So to do so, you can simply click on Edit, and you will be able to drag and drop some content on the page. So let's keep it simple right now, but I will have some text, for example. I could also add images, videos. I can really play with the design, but it's not the topic in this section. And then if I want to change the layout of the page, I could also define another image ratio, for example. So here, let's change the ratio because the image is a bit cropped here. And if you want to change the position of the image, it's also feasible. You have a lot of options that we could cover later in the presentation. And then I can save. So here it is. As you can see, creating a product on Odoo is quite straightforward. However, if you have your own online store, existing store with a lot of products, or if you want to create many products in bulk, how can you do that? In Odoo, we have a very useful tool, which is the import function. So in general, I'm not only speaking about the products, it could be contacts or other data in the system. You can export this data, and you can also import them. So to do it, I'm going to show you an example on the product level. So I want to import many products in bulk. So to do it, I will go into my products section here, and on this screen I will click on this little gear here, and from there I can import new records on my databases. So how to do that? You will use an import template. The template itself is available here, so if you click here you will find a simple template. It might be more advanced if you have more fields to import, but at least you will get a first template here. And then you will work as a Excel or CSV file. So I personally prepared an Excel file to show you how it works. So if you go here in Excel, let me open it, you will have this kind of Excel file with all the information as a column. So here you see each product is on an individual line with all the information. I kept it simple, so I have only a name, the image name as well on my computer, the sales price, and the website category. And of course, all the fields that are available on the product level could be used here to import new value on it. So here I have this file. Just maybe an important point regarding the image of the products. As you might know, in Excel it's not possible to add the images file directly into the Excel file. So all you have to do is to add the exact name of the image as it is on your computer. And then during the import of the Excel file, we will also import the corresponding images, and then Odoo will match the name with the image, and then the right images will be associated to the right product. So now let's go back to Odoo, and I'm going to show you how to import that file. So you can click here on Upload Data File, and from here you can select this new file, which is there. And as you can see on the left, you have the file columns. So all the columns that are on your file will be found by Odoo. So the name, the image, the sales price, the website category. And automatically, Odoo will map it with the existing Odoo fields. So here, it has detected that the name is probably the name fields on your product form, the image, sales price, and so on. Of course, if you want, you could change it, and you can select another field to import on. So now, regarding the images as well, you can upload all the images that you want to import here by clicking on this button, and you could select them. And you can test the import first. So here I have one error, and the error is because I try to import values in my website category, which is a column on my file, but these categories don't exist right now on Odoo. So Odoo is asking me, what should we do with these new values? Should we prevent the import? Should we set it as empty? Should we skip the record, or can we create these new values? And we will select the last option. So we'll create the categories, the e-commerce categories directly by importing them on Odoo. So now I can test again, and I will get that message telling me that everything seems valid right now. So I can simply import the data in Odoo. And here we are. We have all the products imported into Odoo with the right images and prices. So that's very useful, and it's important to spend time to adapt the Excel file in order to import the values. Also, you can also adapt the values, the existing values, by importing on them. So if you have a price change every year, you could re-import the price value on the products by using this import file as well. So now an important feature when you sell products, especially clothing, is the variance management. So a t-shirt, for example, might have different colors and different sizes. So we will have to manage them to be able to use different values in the stocks and to add different price depending on the attributes. To do it, you can simply click on configuration here. So just have to click there, go into the settings, and from there you can search for the variance. So you just have to select this variance option here, and you can save. From there, you will be able to go now into the e-commerce tab and use the attribute menu to find all the existing attributes for your products. So we have some predefined attributes. I will select them and archive it here to create it from scratch. So let's create a new attribute, for example, the color. I will decide that this is a color type, allowing us to get color selection for the variants. So very useful in case if you sell some clothes. And then you can add the different values. So for my colors, I will have one value beige, gray, and black. And here, as I decided to put it as a color type, I can now add the exact color. Okay, so I will put beige, something like this, gray, and a black. I could also use an image. If I have a pattern, for example, if I sell a leopard pattern clothes, for example, then I can add the image of the texture here instead of the color dot. Here it is, so now I can save it. And if I go to my products now, if I go here into my products, I will select, for example, this blazer, and now I get this new tab, attributes and variants. From there, I can add the new values available for the several attributes. Let's start with the color. So I'm selecting the color here, and I will define the values available. So the beige, the gray, and the black. If I want to create a new attribute on the fly, it's also possible. All I have to do is to add a line and type, for example, size, and I can create this value from this menu. And now I can also add the several values available. So for example, S, M, and L. So now we have two attributes and they have 3 values each. So we will normally get 3 values multiplied by 3 other values. So we'll get 9 variants in total. So if we save by clicking on this little cloud, we will now have these 9 variants available. And now, from this menu, we can manage them individually. We can have different stock level for each variant, and we could also add a specific price, specific images, and other characteristics. So I'm going to change the images to put the right color. So here we have the combination. So we have beige and S, so that's the right picture. Here, I'm switching to the other. And now we have gray, so let's put a gray blazer. So here, I will select the gray version. Okay, and also a little tips. If you click on Control or Alt, you will be able to find different shortcuts. So if I keep it pressed and I click on N, I will move to the next record, or P for the previous record. So it's very useful to spare time. So let's select my different images. And that's it. So now, if we go on my products, we can go here on my website, and we will find the different combination available. Since the last version of Odoo, so 19.1, it's possible to add a specific price for each variance. You don't have to follow a specific rule anymore, an extra price. Now you can put a specific price for each variant. And you'll get also a grid with all the specification available here. So now you have discovered how you can configure your catalog to add also variants. So let's have a look at the full catalog. If you go on the All Products menu here, you will find the catalog as your visitors will find it on the website. So since the last version of Odoo, it's possible also to edit. We have added more features in order to customize this page. So if you click on Edit here, you will be able to enter the editor. And if you click on the product grid, you can now deploy some the products page tab, and you will get many options to have a different style. Here you have list view, you have thumbnails, chips. You can also click on this little pencil here to get more options. So if I click here, I have several presets for the style. You can also define another ratio for the products here. So we can see the full product, for example, and many other options. The goal is not to cover all of it now, but we have many options available. Also, what is interesting to mention here is that we can also have a secondary image on hover. So this is also a new feature. So when you click on it, you can define if you want the secondary image on hover. It's here. And you can also add, for example, a specific ribbon. As I mentioned before, you can add a specific ribbon like sale, for example, or new. And the style of this ribbon could be edited as well. Okay, so you can change, for example, the color, and you could also change the style if you prefer a badge style, for example. So now you can save, and the shop is already set up. So now let's move on the third part of this presentation, how to edit the design of your store. To do that, let's go on the home page of your website. When you edit a website, in general, it's always better to start with the parameters that are transversal to the whole website. So I mean the color palette, the font, for example. And this could be managed in Odoo by clicking on the Edit button here. You click on that, and you select the third tab, the Theme tab here, and you will be able to define a specific color palette for all the website. So you can change the color combination by clicking on each color dot, and from there you can add a specific color. For example, here you can use this specific color picker tool, or you can even use an hexadecimal code. I added a specific code here, so let's take it. You can simply add a specific color, which is the color of my logo. Regarding the logo itself, then, I can add it here by clicking on the logo, and I can change the image directly. So I will upload the image from my folder. Here, so I have my new logo. And maybe I would like also to change the font style for my website if I have a specific brand identity. To do it, you can go back into the Theme tab, and from there you can define a specific font for the text of the website. So you can define the specific font for the paragraph, for example, Inter, but you could also add a custom font. The fonts could be used from the Google font collection. So this library is a font library provided by Google. It's free, and you will find many different fonts for your website that you can reuse for free into Odoo. So if you find a good font here, for example, I like Poppins, I will find this font, and then I will be able to reuse it into Odoo by searching here Poppins. If you have your own font, for example, if a designer created a specific font for your business, you can also use it on the website by uploading the file here. And then all you have to do is to save and reload and assign this font here to the right type of content. So here it's for the paragraph, but if I also want to use that font for the headings, I can simply select it here. And that's it. And now I can save it, and that's it. Now, how can you add some content to the page? You'll see that's very easy, and you don't need any specific skills to build the pages. To do it, you have to click on Edit, and you will get all these blocks of content available. So Odoo use a building block system to help you build the structure of the website. So if I click on any block, I can drag and drop it on the screen, on the page, and I can browse through several predefined templates that I will be able to edit. So I will take the first one here, this banner. I will now be able to edit it by myself. I can remove elements. I can change the position of each element. I can add another picture. So I can either upload an image from my computer, or I can also search directly for copyright-free pictures on Unsplash library, which is an external library. And here I will be able to select images directly from here. Perfect. Small tip, if you click on Escape, you can also remove the edit panel while staying in the edit mode. So it's also very nice in order to see how it looks like full screen. You can change as well the text. So fashion store in Milan, for example. I can also add more text. I can use also the AI function to transform the text or to add new content to the page. So if I select the text and I click on here, I will get this new pop-up allowing me to prompt or to ask things to the AI connected to Odoo. So Odoo is connected to ChatGPT and Gemini. And then I will simply ask, could you write welcoming message for my fashion store in Milan, and I can add, for example, 150 characters. Instantly, Odoo will bring me this text, and I can use it directly, and now it's used on my page. And I can close the panel. Now I could also change the style of the button. Here I can set up the style of the button here. If I select the button, I will have a few options here in the right panel. I can select the type of button. I can also have a custom button if I want specific color, specific border size, and so on. But here I'm satisfied with this one. Maybe I'm just going to change the text in the button. Shop now. And on the button itself, I can change as well the URL. So right now it's redirecting to the Contact Us page, but I would prefer that it redirect my customer directly to the shop because it's a Shop Now button. So I can now search for the URL of my shop here, and I can apply. And then I can save. So you get the point. It's very easy to edit the website on Odoo. Also, it will allow you to have a lot of autonomy. You will not depend on an external agency, an external developer to edit the content. Of course, it's always good to have a designer involved in the project to be able to make it beautiful. But then, if you need to adapt the content, you will be able to do it by yourself. So let's add a few more blocks. So I could use, for example, a column block here. So I will change the image. For example, I'm going to put close again. I will take another picture here, for example. I can also change the order of the blocks here. I will put another image. Here, and I could also easily duplicate the block of content. If you created a specific style, I would advise you to create one block and then duplicate it and maybe change the different pictures. Also, a very nice feature is the fact that you can save some custom block. So if you design a block and you would like to reuse it on other pages, then all you have to do is to select that block and click on this little icon here in order to save it. And now in my block of content, I have this custom section and I can reuse that block on other pages. So the block of content that I have created here are static content. I mean, I created by myself. However, in Odoo, you can also use what we call dynamic block of content. If you go on the library, you can search for a dynamic type of content. And here you will see, for example, a specific product carousel. If you add it, the advantage is that all the information displayed in that block will come directly from the backend. So it's very useful, for example, if you want to display the latest products, for example, or a specific category. You can just select that block, and when you click on it, you can have now a specific filter. You can display a specific category, a specific tag. So remember, I added a tag sales on my shirt. So now I will only get that product in this carousel, or I can remove it here. But I can also decide not to display all the variants of a product. So here I don't want to display 4 times my blazer, of course, so I will decide to show to hide the variants of this product. So we have other products available. So this is very useful, this kind of dynamic content. It can also be used for events. If you use events management in Odoo, you can also display blogs article in the same way. And yeah, that's very useful. And it allows you to display updated content on the page. Finally, you can also use blocks that communicate with other applications from Odoo. It could be a contact form, so the contact form will create a lead directly into the CRM application of Odoo, or for example, we installed the email marketing application before, so if I use the email marketing block of content here, I will be able to collect the email address of my visitors, and then I will be able to send them specific newsletter. Why not putting in place a promotion program with a specific code, and you can really have a fully integrated marketing flow into Odoo. And yeah, that's very useful. Maybe you can cover it later in the presentation. So I won't spend more time on this part. To showing you all the features, because of course we have limited time and there are so many options here. However, I hope that you got the point that one of the main advantage of Odoo, on top of the autonomy that the tool is providing you, it's also the integration of all the modules, and you don't need extra connectors to run your business with several software. Okay, so now I can save. I have my my shop available here. I have my product pages, but I also didn't set up a specific payment method yet. It means that my customers are not able to buy my products online. So let's see how we can configure that. To do it, you just have to click on the configuration here and select the payment provider. So you will have to install a payment provider. So payment provider is a module from an external company. I mean, it's a connector created by Odoo to an external payment system. By default in Odoo, we have the following ones. So you can use, for example, Stripe is very popular. It means that you will have to create an account on Stripe, and then once you have installed the module, the Stripe connector, you will be able to put your credential to make the bridge to the payment platform. You also have PayPal available and many others. In this presentation, I will install the demo payment method because it will allow me to simulate payment. So here I will install it, and I will make sure that it's in test mode, so perfect. And finally, the last point is also the delivery methods. So of course, once you get an order, you have to ship it, and usually you will work with external shipment providing system. So to do that, you can activate the delivery methods. Either you create it manually, it means that you will have to create a specific method, okay, with a specific price. So the price could be fixed. Let's say I have a specific price of €5. Let's keep it simple. Or I can also compute the price of my delivery on some rules, such as the weight of the products and many other things. So here I can also make it available to a specific group of countries. So if I have a specific method for a specific group of country. And if I don't want to create it manually, I can use an external provider. So in the same logic as what we use for the payment providers, you can install more shipping methods. So they are connectors to external delivery companies, such as DHL, UPS, and others. So again, the advantage here is that all the information of the order will be transferred to the company, and then you don't have to go back into the portal of the shipment provider to print the label of that you have to put on the package. The label itself will be automatically available in the inventory application of Odoo. So that's one advantage. The other advantage is that the price of the shipment could be computed automatically based on the sales and the size of the order, for example. An important point as well, in the payment, in the delivery methods, I would recommend you to have a look at SendCloud, because SendCloud is a platform that allows you to gather and to make several shipment methods available for your customer. So you only need one account on SendCloud, and then you can use several methods. So it's very popular amongst Odoo users. And of course, you will need a SendCloud account. So that's it for the configuration here. So we can have a look at my shop, and I can now add a product to my cart here, and I will get this this checkout process. So I'm going to simulate a payment here. Okay, no delivery method available. Maybe I didn't set it published. Okay, let's go back here. I will go on my website as a visitor. Okay, so I'm not connected anymore to the database. Let's add a product here. I will pay. Oh, no delivery method is available. Okay, maybe I did a wrong configuration. No problem. So once I get the order that is created in my system, I will then get the sales order, and the sales order will be available here. Okay, so you will get the sales order. So if the order passed, you can simply use it here, or you can create it manually, what I'm doing right now. So I will get my shirt. And then I have my order that is generated here, and I could simply confirm it. If it was created through my e-commerce, it will be automatically confirmed because the payment passed. So here I confirm. And from the sales order, you'll see that I will get a delivery, okay, of my product, stock move, and then I will also have an accounting flow with the creation of the invoice. The creation of the invoice could be automatic, so I could decide in the settings to create the invoice automatically, or I could, if I prefer, I can also create it directly manually from the backend here, if I prefer to have a look at it before confirming the order. And I can also go back on my sales order to find the delivery, and from there I will find the stock move, and I see that I have to ship one linen shirt, and then I can validate. The advantage of Odoo is that all these documents will be available in the portal of the user. So the visitor will find his own portal here, and then he will be able to find all the orders that they have. For example, here, the order for the linen shirt. And then they can download the order. They can also download the invoices. And you can also make other documents available to your customer directly into their portal. Okay, so that was the global flow of Odoo. I didn't mention it also, but Odoo is natively responsive, so it means that it's well displayed on mobile phone as well. So if you click on the phone here, you will natively get a native mobile version of the website. And you could also decide to hide specific block of content. If you want to have a different banner for your customer, you can simply click on Edit. A different banner for the customer on the mobile phone, of course. You can just click here on hiding this block of content, and then you can create another block, for example, here. Let's say this one. And this one, I want to make it available on the phone, but not on the desktop version. And then I will get different version of the website. This visibility condition could also work on a group of countries. If you want to have a specific block of content for one country group, it's also possible to display it to several group of countries if you have a specific marketing action and so on. Okay, so that's all for the B2C flow. Before we finish this presentation, I would like to show you the B2B version of the website, because Odoo is very useful to create B2B website as well, because it's all connected with the backend. So amongst the different useful features, B2B features of Odoo, we will find the price list management. It means that once connected, one user can see the price that we have decided for them. So to do so, you can simply activate the price list management, and here you will get the price list. So you could create specific price lists, for example, B2B. In the B2B price list, you can apply a specific rule. This rule will be applied to a specific product or a specific category. Let's keep it simple. So it will be applied to all the products. And then I can decide to use a specific formula or a specific discount. So again, just to show you a simple example, we can apply a 20% discount on the sales price for all the customers that are in this price list. Here we have this new price list, and now to link a new customer to a specific price list, you can go into the contact application. Here you will find, or you will create a new customer, John Doe, for example, and in the sales and purchase application, you will now be able to link the price list here, the default price list. So if John Doe is connecting to the website with his email address, so you have to create an address, of course. You have to mention the address of John Doe. Oh. I just have to change my keyboard here. Now I could grant a portal access to John. If I click on the gear here, I can simply grant a portal access, and then John will be able to create a specific password and then access the portal. Of course, in the B2C mode, you don't have to grant the access. You can let all the customers create their own account directly on the website. You could also decide to have a shop, but to hide the price to the customer. So you just want to display the catalog of products that you get in stock, but you don't want people to see the price. To do it, you can go into the configuration of the e-commerce, and here you will find this option, Add to cart. So instead of showing a price, you will have a specific button for all the products that have a price of 0, or a specific category. For example, you create a tailor-made category for your products, then you will select this category, and instead of having a Add to cart button, you will be able to have a button to a specific contact form. And then you will be able to see it on the product page. And finally, a very important point is the forms on the website. So if you click here on Contact Us, you could have specific forms, and these forms could be edited with different fields, and the action itself could be changed as well. So instead of sending traditional email with the form answers, you could directly decide to change the action of the form, and instead of sending an email, you could create a request into the pipeline. So to do it, you will have to install the CRM application. So I don't have it yet, so I will install it. Just go there. I install the CRM. And now on my contact form, I will be able to define that the answers will create a specific lead into my system. So just have to click here and create an opportunity. I can save and let's test it. So just adding number, test, I want info, test. I can send it, and instead of being on my email address, it's going to be directly into my sales pipeline with this opportunity. From the opportunity, I will be able to review all the information, all the requests, adapt it, link it to a specific contact. I could also use the chatter part here to log information, to speak with other colleagues about this request, to log some files, plan activities. And finally, I could directly create a quotation for my customer. So I will add a specific product here, jeans for example, and then I will be able to send it, and my customer will also be able to preview into the website this order, and they can accept and sign it online, and then it's going to convert the quotation into a sales order. Last point before we move on the Q&A session is the search engine optimization. So that's the question I often get. How can we optimize the website for the search engines? To do it, Odoo has an integrated feature. So here, if you click on sites, you could use the optimize SEO feature. You will get that panel where you can define a specific meta title and meta description. It means the information, the preview in the search engines. You could also detect if the page has some broken links, if there are or not some alt tags on the image. So for accessibility purpose, that's very important. And also you could define and have a clear overview if the keywords that you want to position yourself on are displayed on the page. So for example, I want to position myself as a fashion store in Milan. So I will search if the word fashion is available on my page, and here I can see that it's used on my main title and in the content. And of course, if it's a very important word for my positioning, brand strategy, it's important that this word is also available in subtitles, in the meta title and the meta description. And here, Odoo will suggest you a few content IDs based on the most common Google searches associated to these specific keywords. And since the last version of Odoo, you can also use the AI to update all this information for you. So here it completed the meta title, the meta description. It also helps you with the keywords and so on, and then you can save. So that's all for this presentation. We could go way further by adding other modules, but we have limited time. Of course, if you are interested to run your own online store of Odoo, on Odoo you could simply have a try. So it's very easy, as I showed you, to create a new database and test it. You know, it's free. You can really test it instantly. And also, if you want some advices or if you want to discuss your project, you can contact us via the website. You can book a meeting with one advisor here. And now let's go back to the presentation. So I also wanted to tell you that we have a web design service at Odoo. So if you need help in building a website, we provide this service. So we have an internal team at Odoo that creates website for customers. So you can have a look at this website. It's called design.odoo.com. From there, you will be able to find different projects, have a look at what we have implemented. So you have some explanations. You also have the link to the website. And if you want to have a quotation or discuss your project, you can also contact us via this form, and we will come back to you as soon as possible. Okay, so that's all for me, and I hope that you learned a lot of things. If you have questions, we will answer them in 1 minute, so stay online. So thank you everyone for all your questions. You have a lot of questions. So let's start with the first one. These modules are community made or just officially Odoo published modules? So all the modules that I've shown you in these presentations are the one from the solution itself. So it's included into the Odoo license. So they are all developed by Odoo. So all the applications that you can install from here are the one provided by Odoo by default. Indeed, we also have third-party applications. So if you go on apps.odoo.com, there you will find modules or connectors that have been developed by external companies. For example, a specific dashboard, or if you want a connector to other solutions. The important point here is that these modules are not installable on the Odoo online version. If you want to add this module on your database, you will have to be hosted on-premise or on Odoo SH. So there is a question about Spanish localization and the VAT field on a checkout page. I'm not sure if I got it correctly, and what I can show you is how to hide the B2B fields on the checkout process. So to do it, you can go on the website module. You can simply add a product on a cart. Go there, and here you can move on the checkout process. And if you click on edit now, you will be able to you click on the delivery panel, and here you have show B2B field or not, and normally it should hide the VAT field. I hope it answered the question. If not, you can create a ticket to the support in order to get an answer to that question. Publish on, meaning publishing created item on multiple web shop at once. Well, first of all, it's true that I didn't mention that on Odoo you can create multiple shops, multiple websites on the same database. So to do it, you can go into the configuration here in the settings, and from there you will be able to create a new website. So here you have 2 websites in this database. The advantage then is that you could display the product on several shops. So at the product level, if you go on any product here, for example, in the e-commerce tab, you will now be able to select on which website this product is published, and or if it's available on all the websites. And the question then, I guess, is if I publish this product, does it mean that it will be published on all the mentioned websites? Yes. So if it's published, if you have selected all here, it's going to be published on all the websites. If you only selected the first website, then it's only be published on the first website and not on the second one. Do you manage dropshipping solution in case we resell products through a supplier that will dropship on our behalf? Yes, there is a dropshipping solution on Odoo. It's linked to the purchase application. So if you install the purchase module, you could directly create a request for just a document to send the order, so to the supplier directly. So as soon as you get an order on the website, the order will be transferred to the supplier, but it's not connected to a platform such as AliExpress, for example, and so on. It's not exactly that kind of dropshipping. It's more an automatic request for quotation document that is generated, and then you can send it to the supplier from the purchase module, but it's not linked to dropshipping platforms. Can we mass import variants along with the base product and also specify an internal reference for the variants on the import sheet? Yes, it's now possible to mass import the variants. It's a new feature from the 19.1 version, so I can show you an example here. So I think I get in my folder a variants example. So now from the single Excel file you can add the attributes, and then you can mass import on the products. So this is a new feature in the 19.1 version. Can you ask AI? Oh, sorry, I skipped one. So, do you have some references of online store using Odoo, please? Yes, we have a few examples online. So there are many sources. First, as I mentioned, you have design.odoo.com. So these are all the projects that have been managed by the web design team, internal web design team of Odoo. So if you go there, you will find the projects, and some of them are online store. For example, Penguin are an online store, and yeah, you can find other examples here. Also on odoo.com, if you type Odoo website showcase, there you will find a page on the odoo.com website with many references. For example, Fairphone is a famous phone brand. Bonne Maman, which is also quite famous, and other references. We also classify them by category, and we often update the list. So feel free to have a look. As soon as we get new references, we try to add them here. Can you ask AI to generate the whole template without using the default template? So I think if I go back to my database, here, I can now I can simply use this one. So here you can create templates. So when you create new, you can create new pages here, and now you can predefine templates. And here I won't be able to show you because I didn't install the AI module in this database, but I think you can also ask directly Odoo to prompt the type of content you'd like to appear on the page, and then you will be able to let AI create the content of the page. Okay, so yeah, that's exactly that. So you specify generating a corporate website with hero, features, price plan, and contact us form. So you will not be able to create a whole website with AI, but at least you can create each page individually with AI. Can we see the mobile version? How well do this block transfer from desktop config to mobile? So here on a page, so let's add some content on this website. For example, here I will be able to access the mobile version by clicking on this icon here, and then I will be able to see to review the mobile version of my website. As explained, if you want to hide some content because for any reason one block is not displaying well on a website or not as expected, you always have the choice to hide it on the mobile version. So you can select the visibility condition and hide the block. Then the block itself will not appear anymore on the mobile version. and but it's still available on the desktop version. And then you could replace them by another block to create a mobile version of this block. Okay, I see in the edit panel that you can add a video, but it has a yellow tag on it. I'm not sure what is the yellow tag, but I don't exactly understand what do you mean by yellow tag. But in general, if you want to have a video on the website, you can simply click on the image, double click on it, and go in the fourth tab here, and you will be able to paste YouTube URL for the video. And you can also use the video as a background banner as well. So if you click on the banner here, you can select a video instead of an image simply. But it's not possible to upload the video directly on the database as we do for the images. What if I have my own better website with full SaaS support, but I want deep inventory integration? How can I make it so that my customer don't feel the domain changes and seamless? Well, here we explain you how to set up a website on Odoo. So obviously the website was created on Odoo. For any other reason, maybe you would like to keep your existing website because you have already invested a lot of time and money, or for any other reasons, you'd like to keep the website, but you would like to send the order directly into the inventory of Odoo and use Odoo as an ERP, so business management system, connected to your website. This is technically feasible. You can have what we call a headless website, so the website is done on another platform, but all the data are connected to the backend of Odoo. This is done through specific connectors, or you can also use the API. So the Odoo database is open, so you can use the API to pull and push data on the database. Also, that's something feasible. But of course, if you can integrate everything into Odoo, I would highly recommend you to use that solution. How can you safeguard this form from spam? So the question is about the spam on the form itself. So here you have a form and you'd like to prevent spammers to be able to send spam. Simply to do it, you can go into the configurations and you can activate the reCAPTCHA feature from Google. So the reCAPTCHA is this little widget and usually you have to select, for example, one motorcycle, and you have to select the pictures including this motorcycle. Then you can activate it directly from the settings. You will have to place the side key and the secret key and the minimum score, but that's something totally feasible on Odoo. I want to implement my website with Odoo. How can I optimize my product searches on Google? Then you have to work on the search engine optimization. As I explained, you have these settings here on each page and also product pages. You will get these options to optimize the SEO. Also, if you want, because it's not only about that, obviously SEO, but if you want to really put in place a specific search engine optimization strategy, you could also have a look at the SEO service from Odoo. So we have an internal service that can help customers to better position their website on Google. And you will find it here. If you search for SEO service, you will be able to work with a functional consultant on trying to improve your position on the search engines. And if you are interested, you can click on this button to meet an advisor. More websites, DNS domains. Yeah, so I won't be able to show you proper DNS configuration right now. However, it's quite easy in Odoo. You can link your own domain name. So you have to go on your own domain provider, for example, godaddy.com. And there you will be able to create a CNAME record to point to the Odoo database, so your Odoo database. And on the Odoo side, it will be important to also set up and let the DNS pointing to your Odoo database, and this could be configured on the Odoo side. All the documentation for that is available on Google. If you type Odoo domain name, you will find the documentation here and all the different steps that you have to follow to set up this domain. Okay, I didn't see it, but the question is more detailed below. So for multiple websites, and why you can't access the configure is the correct domain after setup. Okay, probably so if you have multiple websites and you need to point several domains on several websites on the same database, you have to create the CNAME on the name of the database. Okay, so you on for example my database atelier.odoo.com. Even if I have two domains, I point on it, and then at the Odoo level on the shop configuration here in the configuration, you will be able to set up the right domain here for each one. But it's an extra step, so you should also do all the configuration in the Odoo portal on odoo.com. But everything is detailed on the documentation normally. And feel free to ask the question to the support if you do not manage to do it. I want my own website for landing and channel my customer to Odoo e-commerce platform for online shopping and delivery plus inventory. So like, how can I make it seamless? Okay. So I hope I get the question, but so you mean you have a website, but you still use the an Odoo website for the shop. So you have the static website, but in parallel you also have the shop, and you would like that the transition between the both websites is seamless. So to do that, there are not so many options, unfortunately. The best options would be to have a button on the main website redirecting to the other to the shop website, and there you can try to have the same brand style, but unfortunately we will not be able to switch to the Odoo website in the same windows without getting a domain change. That's not technically feasible. So yeah, unfortunately I don't have a better solution for that. How do I sync my domains in Google Workspace with Odoo? So I guess it's for all the email management. This is not very related to the website itself. Actually, you don't really have to sync it. So I'm not sure to get the question. So if you bought a domain, for example, mywebsite.com, then all the email management is not really related to Odoo. So no, I'm afraid I don't really get the question in the Odoo context. Can I create a chat space and a subscription system to build connections? Yes, so we have this live chat module. I didn't mention it, but in the apps we have this nice module allowing you to have a little chatbot. I hope that this is what you're looking for. So now my visitor will get these options when they connect to the website to chat with someone from the company, and the person in the company will get the live chat windows on his own Odoo dashboard. So yeah, this is the live chat module, and we can also pre-build answers, and yeah, it's to automate the flow and the assignation of the leads, for example, if this is a request for quotation. Okay, so that's all for the questions. Thank you for being connected, and I hope it gives you a lot of inspiration, and I hope it gives you a lot of inspiration to launch your own e-commerce store on Odoo. And if you have any questions and if you want to discuss your project, you can simply book an appointment with one of our advisors. So thank you everyone, and see you soon.